Hello po. Good day to all of you who um, are viewing this. Today I am compelled to share something to you. Actually, I was just in bed, lying down and thinking that I will have the whole day to rest because my body seems so tired. Actually, it's more of a, um, there is a burdening feeling of um, that that seem to attack me a lot these days. While in bed today, I realized I have that strong feeling, strong wanting to share something to you today. So I told myself uh, I will try to share a portion of my life story to you. Um, this feeling is so strong, I just could not resist it. I tried listening to songs, but it ended up me having that feeling like deep down inside there is a strong feeling of wanting to share a portion of who I am, my life story to you. Um, Around 15 years back, I came to Manila with the purpose of taking the board exam for nursing. And then I landed in Santa Rosa, Laguna. Um, well, after I took the test and waiting for the result to come out, I landed in Santa Rosa, Laguna, in one of the call centers there. Back then, the name of the call center, I think Info NXX during that time, but this time I believe it is now called KGB, and it's located in Santa Rosa. And while waiting for the result of the test to come out, the nursing nursing board exam result, I stayed there in the call center and worked there for just a short time. And upon knowing of the result of the test, that indeed I passed the board exam for nursing, um, I was having thoughts of maybe I should go to the hospitals and apply. And before I could do that, I um, I had the chance to visit Silang. It was through Chris that I came to Silang because he was a missionary that time. And uh, during the time when I was in Santa Rosa, he was also finishing his missionary work in South Cotabato, I believe. And he came to Santa Rosa to visit me. And um, since he is not so free to go around, and I think that time I was also curious about Silang. I went here, I visited Silang, and I've learned of SDALC as a school where they train Korean students to learn English. It's a training school at the back of 1000 Missionary. And I learned that they are hiring teachers that could teach their students. And since even though teaching English is not really my course, I decided to take it as an opportunity. And so I applied and I was accepted. Um, my stay in SDALC is full of learnings. I learned so much in there in terms of handling students, foreign students, um, how to teach English in a one-on-one basis and as well in a group. And um, I stayed for, I believe, 4 years. Okay, I'm not certain if my memory is right, but I believe I stayed there that that long. And after SDALC, uh, Chris came back from Korea, so as a missionary, and so we decided to go home and get married. After we got married, we came back to Silang again because I see Silang, we see Silang as a place where there is an opportunity to work. And then when we came, I went back into teaching again, and it is here where I gave birth to my two sons. And back then we were staying in Balubad Second, in one of the rented rooms in there. We stayed there, and I was teaching online. Still, my students were Koreans, and um, after a time, maybe 2 years, my husband had a call to serve in Noveleta because he was given a chance to have a permanent post in one of the public schools situated in Noveleta. And so we went to Noveleta, and um, with him, our with him, we transferred there, thinking and hoping that life for us would be kind and good, and we will be able to settle and to fulfill our dreams for our family. But stay in Noveleta was as well short. So after a time, um, we went back to Silang for a reason back then that I could not understand. We went back to Silang again. And it was during the time when there was hiring for K to 12 teachers for the senior high school. And then I applied directly to the division office. And I was given the chance to have a training in Baguio. And while on training, I received a call that I should be serving, and my name is passed on to one of the schools here in Silang. And so after the training in Baguio, I came to Silang and taught and worked and as a senior high school teacher. That's how I became a teacher, how I landed as a teacher. You know, when I looked at the sequence of my life, there are a lot of things that I don't understand back then. But these days, seems like I was given the opportunity to understand exactly what I went through. So I have mixed emotions. It was more on accepting what exactly happened in the past. At first, I was angry because my thinking was, I was thinking, why should I go through all of these things when in fact these are experiences in the past. So I was questioning, I was angry, and I was questioning as what is the purpose of knowing all of this? Why does it have to, why do I have to pass through an experience like this, when in fact for me, my experiences in the past, I accepted them and I dealt with them, I thought, until lately I realized there were portions in my life that I was not able to overcome until I experienced all of these lately. So there are things that happened in the past that ngayon ko lang siya nakitaan ng, I realized the importance, the connection, and when I look back at my experiences, I always felt like they were disconnected, parang walang connection. But this time, I realized they seem to have been created in a sequence that is, it is in a sequence that is well arranged. And it would lead to a moment like this when I get to realize the importance and the pains and the fears and the moving on I have to do these days. So I said that I realized several things, and I know that some of you are also experiencing your struggles. You have your struggles these days, and if you can relate to my story, um, maybe you'd understand what I'm exactly talking about. It came to the point that I realized I tend to question my existence. Like, who really am I? What am I for? Uh, what kind of life do I really have? And I realized um, it's a kind of life that is molded in the hands of God, as if everything happened for a certain reason. And all, all throughout my experience for, uh, I think it has been 2 years, a year since the pandemic started. Uh, I had a lot of struggles. Um, I think I had my coping mechanism was altered for some reason, and people became an instrument to it. But I don't want to dwell on the negative side. However, I'd like to focus on what I learned from that experience. And in my struggles, it's funny, because it is exactly your struggle that will be used to mold you into something stronger, a stronger and a well-grounded version of yourself. I maybe we could say better. I'm not sure if I could use that word, but what I know is, um, there's something in me that is molded into somebody stronger and more well-grounded. And uh, I have the feeling of being broken inside. You know, when you get to have that feeling of you're going through tough times. Outside, you are trying to gather yourself because, of course, you have to function. You have a career. Most especially, you have children that are looking at you. You don't have the time to really pour out your emotion because the busyness of the world, or there are just a lot of things to do, a lot of overcomings to do, that could not you just could not find time to really pour out your emotions alone. And so uh, I have the feeling of being broken inside. Para you really seem like a glass. I remember one song, um, like you're shattered into pieces, and then um, at one point you don't feel whole, like you are torn apart internally and even externally. You feel like you are disconnected from things around you, from people around you. And the sense of being broken or torn apart lasts short. It doesn't last long. The good thing about it is, after feeling like that, and you have the tendency to feel helpless, um, there is nothing more you could do but to cling on your creator. So after doing that, you feel the sense of uh, there is like calm. There you feel calm. There's this feeling of calmness and peace that you could not explain, and that comes with it is the feeling of being whole or fullness. And every time I feel that, I feel I always wanted to claim that I would stay as such. But after a while, after a day, or maybe an hour or 2 or 4 hours later, there will be something will happen again that will uh, test me, and then that will eventually make me feel broken again. So I've been in and out of that process for many times. And there were times when I thought I couldn't make it, especially mentally and emotionally, psychologically, maybe they call that. It's more on, for me, it's more on your mental capacity to carry the worries and the problems, I thought I could not make it. And I felt like my mind isn't ending, like uh, the capacity of my mind is only until at this point. But I realized every time I feel that, um, you be, it, the, it tend to develop in you. Your mind's capacity to carry on the burden becomes stronger each time. And so every time I feel that feeling, overwhelming feeling of relief that I was able to make it through, and I was still able to contain myself, and I still I look at my children, my family, and I still recognize who they are. I feel this overwhelming thankfulness, umaapon na thankfulness in my heart for the sustaining mercy of the Heavenly Father. Sorry, I'm crying. Uh, um, and then after feeling like that, I wanna. There is this strong sense of wanting to hold and to just stay at that feeling. Like many times I've claimed, it's the end of it. It's the end of this. This is it. I have reached the end. But it's just not happening. Though the Lord is very clear with this message that He's going to sustain us in times when we feel like that. And it is in this time when you are torn apart and broken inside that you feel the sense of the sense of love and care and protection from above, because that actually we are looking for somebody around us, for people around us, surrounding us, even with our family members, with our neighbors. Most probably we tend to look or cling on to them for help. We thought these are the people that could help you, but eventually it will fail, because the Lord is teaching us a lesson that it is only Him who we can trust. And my husband has always been reminding me, you just could not trust anyone, even yourself. So we should always put our trust on our Creator, because after all, He is the one who created us and He knows us inside out. And for many of you who have experienced the same, if you were to ask me what was my greatest realization all throughout the ordeal, a lot actually, but this time I want to highlight the importance of prayer, as during those times when during those times when I felt really discouraged. There were really times when I felt I became tired, and I have this anger within that even through prayer, I just could not do it. Parang you're like a child retaliating over, questioning God over what have I done, why do I have to pass through all of this, and even kneeling down and praying is so difficult to do. You just feel so discouraged. But there will come a point when you just could not bear it anymore, and you don't have a choice but to bend your knee and to bring yourself to the Creator and to whisper a prayer. And all throughout my experience, my ordeal, I also learned to distrust, because before I trusted people too much. I thought I was okay. I thought it was okay to trust and be confident on other people, trusting that they will do their share of honest work. But I realized it's not, the world may not function like that all the time. There will be times when the another person may not be able to function like the way we think. Um, so I trusted a lot in my past. I was trusting. I trusted a lot of people back then, and right now I see the negative effect of it, and um, so I realized I don't have to trust, and then I learned to distrust, and I learned to just trust in God. But these days, even my husband, um, we have we experienced, I for one experienced the feeling of questioning myself. Should I trust what he's saying? Should I trust all of this? Should I trust that we are together in this? And painful as it is, there will be hindrances to trusting your life partner, but the Lord will really do something that you will be put back together, and your confidence on each other will be together. And I always end up telling myself that if there is a person I should trust, it should be him. So um, no matter what, I am sure that the Lord will bless this family of ours, and as well, I hope that the Lord will bless yours. And in the days to come, maybe I could share still more from my experience. This, because this is just a fragment of what I went through. I hope that those of you who are experiencing um, this feeling of depression or sadness, anxiety over this pandemic, I want to tell you that you are not alone. And I'm struggling these days because I've been complaining of hair fall, and I've read that it's part of when you're stressed or when you have experienced COVID, one of the side effects would be that hair fall. So many times I worry about it, but this time I realized I should worry less, because after all, there is God in heaven who takes care of each one of us. And no matter how difficult the situation is, as long as we cling on Him and we make a decision not to give up, He will always carry us through. Many times, a message is impressed in my mind that I should forgive. And it's a difficult process, because there were things in the past that happened that I realized it was done in such a manner that would affect me negatively. But the good thing about it is, when realization struck me, I just don't have the feeling of fighting back, nor the feeling of I should do bad things too to those people whom I feel have created something negative in my past. I just have the strong feeling of wanting to have peace of mind, especially because if I look at my children, my family, I just could not afford to be with them and stay sad all the time, and stay negative all the time. And so there, this sense of looking at all these experiences in a perspective wherein I could gain insights or lessons is very therapeutic. Because if you dwell on the negative side, you will be affected much. Your health will suffer, especially your mental health. So it's really healthy to just give it up to the Lord, bring it to the Lord in prayer, and they say, bless those people who harm you. And I have learned to whisper prayers for those people if what they needed is happiness in their hearts, or satisfaction, or a sound decision. Then I pray that the Lord will bless them with that. I hope that to you who is watching and have experienced the same as this, I hope that this sharing would encourage you, would uplift you, that in this battle you are not alone. Especially there is a God of heaven who is in control of everything. So when everything seemed to be broken and out of hand, we just always have to remember we have a Father whom we can cling on to, and who sees and hears our cries and will never forsake us. Thank you. I hope that you be blessed. God bless you.